managers so desperately want but are completely afraid to do is delegating, and specifically delegating projects, tasks that they don't know how to explain. This is a double disaster because for the team, they can say bye to working smart. The easy tasks, the ones that are easy to explain, are going to be the grunt work that has pretty low value. And for the manager, it means overworking yourself because you can't delegate and you fall into the trap of, oh, well, it's faster if I just do it. It will take longer to explain. And that's a short-term mindset that is going to leave you burnt out at the end. But the good news after working with so many managers is that this is a universal problem, and it actually creates two opportunities, one for the team member and one for the manager. And there is actually a simple framework that you can use to resolve this. So let's first talk about the team member. For the team, the opportunity lies in resolving the pain point that your manager desperately wants to solve. And you can do this in 3 steps. Number 1, figure out which pain point is worth solving. If your manager is overwhelmed, if they're not thinking straight, then you can't just follow what they say you should do. The trick is to think skip level. What does your manager's manager care about? What will get them promoted, right? What does the company care about? What is the vision, the direction that the company is going towards? Which KPI can your work move the needle on? You have to identify that first and know for yourself what is high value work and what is low value work. And then we'll find a diplomatic way to tell your manager that you should not be working on the grunt work. But we'll mention that in a moment. Once you've finished step 1, we want to move on to step 2, which is share a plan to resolve that worthwhile pain point. You already know your manager doesn't have the time or the brain capacity to deal with everything that's going on. So help them articulate a plan. And we are going to use the very simple framework SCQA. It stands for situation, complication, question, and answer. Number 1, situation. This is where we define the what. What is the situation today and what is our goal? What is it that we want to achieve as a company, as a team? For example, you can say currently our revenue is steadily dropping, but we want to get back to a 10% growth. Or it could be, we want to increase our ARR, our annual recurring revenue, by 30% by the end of the year. Something that brings out the situation. What is happening now? What is happening in the future? This is the easy part. So we move on to step number 2, which is C, complication. Why are we not there yet? For example, let's take the revenue problem. We don't know why it's happening, right? Your manager is stuck on the surface. You go a little bit deeper. It could be that, actually we don't have data for user behavior. So that's why we don't know why revenue is dropping. Or it could be we have the data, but it's with another department and we've never worked together with them because they report somewhere else. By getting specific, then you can actually articulate what is the real problem, and then you'll find the solution to that real problem. Which leads us to step number 3. Right? We want to define the problem. What is the problem that we want to work on? Remember, managers stuck at the top. I don't know what's going on. So if I don't know what's going on, what is the problem? The problem is I don't know. You want to get specific though. Let's take that revenue decreasing and we don't know why problem. And let's say it's because we don't have user behavior data. Depending on what your team cares about, your problem statement could be, how can we understand user behavior in a quick and cheap way? Let's say, your priority is getting this resolved fast. Or it could be that, how can we set up a system so we start to collect and analyze user behavior data? That could be your focus. So by getting specific with the complication, you're able to come up with a better problem to solve. Because step 4 is about laying out your solution, laying out your answer to the problem. Now, a warning here, many people fall short here. They've done a really great job step 1, 2, 3. But the problem is their action plan is, so let's do some user interviews in order to understand user behavior. It is so vague. As a manager seeing this, you'll be like, okay, like anyone could have thought of that. Now I have to think about how do I lay out the interviews? Who do I delegate it to? And so what you want to do is make your answers also very specific. Help your manager think everything through by using SMART, which stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So let's say we're honing in on that revenue decrease. Specifically, we know we don't have data on user behavior. Then we're going to hone in and we're going to get it quickly and cheaply. So you say, okay, we're going to do user interviews. Now, a SMART plan would sound like we will conduct 10 user interviews in a span of 2 months. We will do 5 on power users and 5 on new users so we can understand the different user segments. The goal will be to understand XYZ, which then will help us find out how we can increase our revenue. I will work together with the marketing team in order to find the right users and with the strategy team to come up with the exact questions we want answers for. We'll probably need 2 team members on this so that we can get it done in time within the 2 months, and it should be time well spent, because if we get the insights that we're looking for, we will be able to tell our execs exactly what is going on with our user base, how we can get back to growing the revenue, and we will directly influence the strategy for the company going forward. I mean, I don't know about you, just listening through this to a hypothetical situation, I already feel like, wow, everything's so clear, right? We have a clear path forward. Everything's been thought through. We even know how long it's going to take. So it's so easy for your manager to react and say, oh, this is a great idea, right? Let's think about doing this. And here is where you diplomatically insert the, oh, if I focus on this, I may not be able to do the boring grunt work. Is it okay if I prioritize this because I think this will really move the needle on our company priority? That's an easy yes from your manager because they know like, this is solving the big problem instead of just keeping you busy with some busy work. But there is one more thing I want to mention here, which is, now that your manager love your approach, right? They're ready to just punt it off to you, right? You can deal with it, and if it fails, they might not really take responsibility. So you want to also protect yourself and couch your solution a little bit. And specifically, there are 3 things you want to couch. First is ask for their input, because you've come up with an amazing plan and they're ready to just say, oh yeah, okay, just do it, because they don't want to think about it. But your manager will have a different source of information. They'll know different strategies and what her or his manager cares about, and also the politics, right? If you say, oh, I'm going to work with marketing, I'm going to work with strategy, but maybe there's some beef going on, so you want to get them to take your wonderful plan and make it even better. Get them to help you and bought into your plan. Then number 2, once they're bought in, they like the plan, they've added to it, you also want to couch in case the plan doesn't work. Corporate hate risk. So we want to manage it for ourselves and for our manager. Something like, okay, best case scenario, I think what we will be able to do is really uncover deep insight, because even though we've done user interviews before, our team has the deep product knowledge that no one else has. So we will be able to pull out things and notice things that previously the marketing team couldn't find. I think there's probably a 70% chance that this will go our way and we can really uncover something important here. But worst case scenario, we didn't get the right users or something has happened and we just cover very average responses. And here you want to mention step number 3, which is Jeff Bezos' famous reversibility decision-making framework, is asking, if I choose to do this, is the result reversible? If yes, we should do it. If no, then let's think about it deeply. So you want to mention, worst case scenario, maybe we don't uncover anything interesting. In that case, at least we can still prove that we are proactively trying to uncover the problem, uncover the answer. We'll know what's not working, and that can actually keep us going if it's a worthwhile path. And we might move closer to the real problem and the real answers that are waiting for us. As a team member, you don't have to take on all the responsibility, and in the end, it is for your manager to think this through and help you to get the success that you need. Now, if you're a manager, there are also opportunities for you because so many people are bogged down. So what you want to do is 1, coach your team through SCQA, thinking through what is the situation, what is the complication, what is the question, and what is the answer. This way you can really see the strength of your team members as they're going through their point of view, what they see that others might not. You also build that collaborative and very open team dynamic. And the second thing is go through SCQA yourself. Remember, these are the projects, these are the tasks that previously we felt like we couldn't explain very clearly. But now we have these frameworks. We can just think through, okay, what is the situation? What is the complication? What's the question and what's the answer? And specifically, what's the smart answer? So that you can delegate these and create room for yourself, create time for yourself to work on the higher impact things that only you can do, that your team can't yet. Now, once you do this, whether you're a team member or a manager, the next thing you want to avoid is the trap of success. I talk about it here. Check it out, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.